Okay, so have you ever thought about a career where you could actually shape how people experience travel?
Sounds pretty amazing, right?
Yeah, today we're diving into the role of a tourism policy director, and honestly, it's way more interesting than it might sound at first.
You think?
Yeah, we've been digging through some info from RoleCatcher, and it's clear this job is about way more than just like beaches and brochures.
Right, there's so much more than that.
We're talking influencing big picture stuff, cultural preservation, economic growth, even how to make tourism more sustainable.
It's really a role with a surprising amount of, well, depth.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, think about it. A tourism policy director has this incredible opportunity to balance the economic benefits of tourism with being responsible for preserving a region's culture and environment.
Wow. Yeah, that's a tough balance to strike.
Not an easy job.
No, not at all. One of the things RoleCatcher really gets into is all the nitty-gritty of what that balancing act looks like day to day. Like one thing that stood out to me, this role needs a really deep understanding of data and trends.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, forget that picture of, sipping cocktails on a beach while you brainstorm a catchy slogan.
Yeah.
Tourism policy directors have to be on top of all this data, right?
Right, wait.
They're analyzing visitor demographics, evaluating how policies are actually playing out in the real world. Like, are people using those new eco-friendly transportation options or not?
Yeah, good point.
And they have to constantly be looking ahead to figure out, what are the next big trends.
Yeah, it's like having a crystal ball in a way.
Right. It is. It's like having your finger on the pulse of, well, the whole tourism industry.
Right.
Speaking of trends, remember, like, not that long ago when sustainable travel was seen as this kind of niche thing,
Right.
now it's huge.
It's mainstream now, yeah.
Totally. It's a major thing that influences people's travel decisions. And tourism policy directors, they're kind of on the front lines of helping destinations adapt to that shift, right?
Absolutely. And it's not just about adapting, it's about coming up with creative solutions.
That's a good way to put it.
For example,
Hmm.
imagine you have this historical site
Okay.
and it's facing way too many tourists, like it's just overwhelming.
Right.
A tourism policy director might come up with a plan to, say, limit how many people can visit each day to try and protect the site, keep it from falling apart.
Yeah, makes sense.
But at the same time, they have to work with local businesses to figure out other ways to make money
Oh, that's smart.
because you don't want to hurt the local economy.
No, definitely not.
It's about finding that balance.
It is that delicate balance. It seems like that's a theme here, isn't it?
Definitely.
And I mean, you wouldn't expect this to be an entry-level job, right?
Oh, no way.
RoleCatcher's career stage breakdowns really show that the path to becoming a director, well, it's a journey.
It is a journey, yeah.
Yeah.
You usually start out in a role like a policy analyst,
Okay.
and in that kind of position, you're building up your research and analytical skills.
Right.
You're learning how to deal with all that complex data, how to assess whether a policy is actually working, and how to communicate all that to different people effectively.
So communication is key here, too.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And it's not just about crunching numbers either.
Right.
You're also working with a bunch of different stakeholders, government agencies,
Oh, I bet.
local communities,
Mm-hmm.
tourism businesses, that kind of thing.
Yeah, you've got a lot of people to answer to.
Exactly. You're building consensus, trying to get everyone on the same page,
Right.
advocating for responsible practices.
Sure.
And, well, sometimes you have to navigate some pretty tricky political situations. Tourism can be political, believe it or not.
I can imagine. So it sounds like diplomacy is a pretty important skill to have in this role.
Oh, for sure.
You're not just dealing with spreadsheets and policies, you're dealing with people, and that has its own challenges.
Absolutely. And as you move up to that director level, the stakes get even higher. Well, you're the one making those big strategic decisions that are going to shape the entire tourism industry in a region for years to come.
Wow. Yeah, that's a lot of responsibility.
It is, and it's not just about bringing in more tourists either. It's about making sure that tourism benefits everyone involved. The locals, the environment, everyone.
You're talking about sustainability.
Exactly. And that brings us to something else that RoleCatcher highlighted. What it's actually like to work in this field day to day.
Okay, so tell me, is it all glamorous travel and brainstorming sessions with amazing views?
Haha, not exactly.
Okay.
I mean, it can be incredibly rewarding, don't get me wrong,
Sure.
but it's also really demanding. Long hours,
Yeah.
dealing with bureaucracy,
Oh, I bet.
and constantly having to find that middle ground between all those competing interests we talked about.
It's a balancing act.
For sure, you need to be able to handle stress, be good at solving problems,
Right.
and honestly, You really need to be passionate about making a positive impact through tourism.
It's got to be something you care about.
Totally. And speaking of skills, RoleCatcher has this whole skills analysis section.
Okay.
And some of the things they list as essential might surprise you.
Really? Like what?
Well, for one thing, you need really strong reading comprehension and writing skills.
Oh, that makes sense when you think about it.
Right. I mean, you're analyzing reports, writing policy recommendations.
Communicating with all those different stakeholders.
Exactly.
So clear writing is key.
Absolutely. And don't underestimate the importance of critical thinking and judgment.
Right. You need to be able to think on your feet.
You have to be able to anticipate what might happen because of a decision you make, look at things from different perspectives.
And make tough calls sometimes.
Exactly. It's a high-impact role, that's for sure.
It sounds like it. So for anyone listening who's thinking, hey, this sounds like me, how can RoleCatcher help them actually land a job in this field?
Well, they have this really cool AI-powered matching system.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that. How does it work?
It's pretty neat, actually. It takes all your skills and experience,
Okay.
and then it matches you up with potential employers who are looking for people just like you.
Wow, that's amazing.
Right. It takes a lot of the guesswork out of job hunting.
No kidding.
And their AI-powered CV and resume builder and interview practice features are also really helpful for making sure you're putting your best foot forward.
It's like having a personal career coach right in your pocket.
Totally. But beyond all the practical tools, I think one of the coolest things about RoleCatcher is that it gets you thinking about the big picture of the tourism industry.
You mean like the future of travel?
Exactly. And one of the biggest trends right now is the rise of sustainable and experiential travel.
So people are looking for something more than just a typical vacation?
Yeah, they want authentic experiences.
Like really getting to know a place.
Yeah, connecting with the local culture.
And minimizing their impact on the environment.
Exactly. They want to have fun, but they also want to feel good about it.
I like that. It really makes you think about like what kind of mark you want to leave on the world, right?
Yeah, totally.
If you could influence how tourism works in a place, what kind of impact would you want to have?
The big question.
It is.
One that everyone who's thinking about this career path should really ask themselves,
Absolutely.
Like, are we pushing the kind of tourism that helps out local communities, or is it just benefiting big corporations?
That's a good question.
Yeah, and are we actually helping to preserve cultural heritage, or are we, like, accidentally erasing it?
It's a fine line sometimes, isn't it?
It really is. These are the tough questions, the important ones, that are at the heart of being a tourism policy director.
So it's about using tourism as a force for good, not just, making money.
Exactly.
It's about lifting up communities, protecting the environment, and helping people from different cultures actually understand each other better.
You got it. And that takes a special kind of person, someone who gets the tourism industry, but also, like, really cares.
Someone who can make smart decisions, but also compassionate ones, right?
Yes. Someone who understands that the choices they're making today are going to affect how we all travel in the future.
Wow, when you put it like that, it's a pretty powerful job.
It really is.
Yeah.
So to everyone listening who's feeling inspired, who's dreaming of a future where travel is both successful and, actually means something, maybe this deep dive was the little push you needed to make a change.
Totally. And if you are ready to start exploring this path, RoleCatcher is the perfect place to start.
Oh yeah, they have so much good stuff on their site.
They do. From really in-depth career guides to those AI-powered tools we were talking about, they've got everything you need to take that next step towards a seriously fulfilling career in tourism policy.
Such a cool field to be in right now.
It is. So until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.